Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good, shall we even say, midnight, depending on where you are. Welcome to the Consensusism study group meeting, which is held every Thursday, in which we discuss philosophy and ideology. I'm Christian Kwame Agbodza. I am the professor of Consensusism and also the resource person. So welcome. This is a space. It's a safe space for us Africans to discuss, to listen, to share, to read, to contribute to the discussion. Feel free to disagree. Feel free to agree. Feel free to be between. And this is a space for us. And the purpose of this space is for us to develop the clarity that is needed for the unification, development, and total liberation of Africa, our motherland. So welcome. On the screen, we have our reading for today, but as usual, we shall read it, but we shall go to the paragraph before, because there are still a few things we need to iron out before we comfortably proceed. And it's centered around Nkrumah's proposal that we accept a new, if you like, philosophy as the basis for a new ideology, which is philosophical consensusism. That's Nkrumah's proposal to us, and he explains to us why he made that proposal. And so when we are reading this paragraph, which says every society is placed in nature, we need to understand what that means in terms of the philosophy that he has proposed. And we are now coming towards the end of this chapter, and in the next chapter, he will then dwell on the ideology itself. So this paragraph we are reading is asking the question, what is the relationship between society and ideology? What is that relationship? And so his proposal is that for us Africans, the relationship should be philosophical consensusism, meaning that is a philosophy, the basis of which we develop our society. So this whole chapter is answering the question, and also then proposing an answer. And so if the answer is that, and if you agree with Nkrumah that philosophical consensusism, which is a philosophy, and the ideology, which is consensusism, if you agree with Nkrumah, then the question then becomes, what is consensusism, or what should it be as far as we are concerned? And so once we've looked at that, then we go into what you might call logicism, or the use of mathematical notation to then lay out the premises and the argument so that it's clear to everyone. And so we are going to read. So what we normally do is we read, and everybody can read. It's open to everyone to read. You can read. The only thing we ask is read slowly so we can take in what you are reading. And sometimes we take it in turns. We like to hear the two voices, or the two sounds of nature, the male sound and the female sound, for balance in our class. So yeah. So Brother Pigeon, if it's okay, please read this paragraph for us. Sister Amma is just joining us. So Sister Amma was mentioning that you will soon be joining us, because once we've read this paragraph on the screen, then what I will do is I'll ask you to just share with us the closing thinking that you shared with us, and that shared thinking that you shared with us will then be the basis for us to then continue. And I hope today we shall wrap up what philosophical consensusism essentially means, and then we'll then proceed with the paragraph that is in front of us. So, brother Pigeon, if it's okay, can you read this for us, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kwame, and greetings to everyone who has joined us. Thank you very much. Permit me to read the paragraph as already requested by Brother Kwame. The paragraph is that the highlighted one. Every society is placed in nature, and it seeks to influence nature.
Sister Amma, just so you know, your camera is on. I don't know if that's you wanted it on. I'm just letting you know. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Once again, every society is placed in nature, and it seeks to influence nature, to impose such transformations upon nature as will develop the environment of the society for its better fulfillment. The changed environment, in bringing about a better fulfillment of the society, thereby alters the society. Society placed in nature is therefore caught in the correlation of transformation with development. This correlation represents the toil of man, both as a social being and as an individual. This kind of correlation has achieved expression in various political, socio-political theories. For a socio-political theory has a section which determines the way in which social forces are to be deployed in order to increase the transformation of society. That's the reading. Back to you, Brother Kwame. Brother Kwame?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I was speaking without unmuting myself. So the society that Brother Pigeon has just shared with us is the same society you recall from the previous paragraph, that will employ all the forces for the harmonious growth and development of that society. How can that society have a harmonious growth and development if within it are contesting philosophies and ideologies, i.e., Islam, Islamic Africa, Euro-Christian Africa, and traditional Africa, all three of whom are animated by sometimes conflicting positions on a lot of things. So if this society is meant to then have a harmonious and growth and development, as we are reading in this paragraph, then something needs to change. Because if, and Brother Yao is not here today, he said he didn't think that Africa can harmonize these three, what Ali Mazrui called the triple heritage. Now, he didn't think that, Yao didn't think that you can harmonize the three. And then others, like Brother Benny, Sister Tapua, and others, were of a different view that actually you can't harmonize this, as I said, triple heritage, as Ali Mazrui called it. So I would, at this point, invite Sister Amma, if it's okay with Sister Amma, to just share with us the last few words she shared with us. Because I said, if you recall, and if you can, we can all recall that what Sister Amma did in her intervention or interjection is to open the door to what we are really talking about. Because you recall that before her interjection, we were dealing with the question, what is it to be human? Are we human because of our actions? Or in other words, is it possible for you, based on your actions, to suddenly become non-human? Or can you still remain human and engage in the most hideous, the most inhumane, the utterly devastating violation of human rights, even animal rights, if you want to go further? Is it possible that you can be human and still be evil? Or is it, to use the word evil, is it that if somebody is evil, then suddenly they are no more human? So that's a question we were grappling with philosophically. And what was coming across was that somehow, if you engaged in inhumane or unhuman, two different words, acts, that you were not human, or that you ceased to be a member of the human race. And that was what seemed to be coming across. And we were trying to get to the root of that when Sister Amma then came in and explained what she did, which I thought was spot on. Because one of the philosophical position of Africa is that the universe is in permanent change, which means that everyone is subject to change, including even those who do evil, or those who do wrong, or those who trespass, or those who disobey a law. They can be rehabilitated. So, Sister Amma, if it's okay with you, please share with us what you shared with us before we had the break. Thank you. Sister Amma? Thank you. All right, Sister Amma is not. Let me ask her to unmute us. I don't know if she heard anything I said. Sister Amma, did you hear anything I said?
She left a message in the chat that she can't talk right now.
So it's something in the chat. Let me just check the chat. Unfortunately, I'm not in position to speak. Okay. All right. Thank you. So Sister Amma says she can't speak. Brother, welcome. Are you saying anything to us? Because your mic says you are talking, but you are muted. If not, does anyone remember what Sister Amma shared with us before we broke up last week? Thank you. Yeah, please speak if you remember. Thank you. Anyone who remembers, please unmute yourself and share.
I think Sister Amma said that everybody had the capability to be both good and bad. She didn't really, I don't think she told us about what choices there were that made people good or bad, but she says we all had that ability within us, is what I remember. Thank you.
So that is the source then. It is an internal tendency in every human that all humans have the capacity internally We are born with it to be completely evil in every sense of the word. All kinds of sites, if I want to use the word CIDE, genocide, epistemicide, suicide, all those sites, all those evils that everyone inherently can do those. And at the same time, everyone has a tendency, has the inner capacity to also be the doer of just good without any evil. So I think that's what she shared with us. And she reminded us that therefore being evil is not no particular ethnic group has the monopoly on evil. You understand? So we should dispense with the idea that there is a particular group of humans on this planet that somehow only they have the capacity to do the most heinous or commit the most heinous crimes, and the rest of us can't do that. Yeah. So if I may digress a little, so sometimes it's portrayed that men can be manipulative, dominating, and so on when they are the boss. You know, they are so bossy. They dominate everyone, even when it comes to sexual advances. They engage in sexual harassment of women because of their position. And then we hear that when women also hold such positions as men, they do exactly what the men also do. They also sexually harass men. So we can see that it is a context from which one is acting, the material context. And we'll come to that in the next paragraph. So it's the material context, the concrete environment that you are acting in, that is what sometimes shapes how you behave. And so thank you, Sister Ida, for reminding us. Anybody wants to add anything to that before we proceed? And then because we've now entered that door, so we want us to wrap that up, and then we move to this paragraph on the screen. So anybody wants to add to that, please unmute yourself and do so. Thank you.
I think that it can also be learned behavior. And it's something that if you aren't careful, you pick up things without realizing, especially evil things. Or like at the end of the war, a lot of people said they were just obeying orders. That was their way out, or trying to make it a way out of what they had done during the war. But as human beings, we have the ability to think. And if we fail to do so, we can often find ourselves in trouble, is all I can say. Thank you.
Anyone else? Feel free, unmute yourself and share your thinking. Thank you.
Now, the inner self ability to be either good, to do evil, or to do good. Most specifically, to be evil and be involved in the sites. How can philosophy keep that? Thank you.
Any other thoughts on the matter? Please unmute and share. Thank you.
Please, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Brother said at the very end. He asked the question, but I didn't quite hear the question. Please, could you repeat?
How can philosophy help society to keep the tendency of society or members of society to depict the tendencies of being evil. Did I repeat too much? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And can
Brother
I,
Kwame,
apart from saying thank you, can I say that if we look at children, we often find that they go to school and they're taught things, they learn things, how to behave. And I think that is part of what is learned behavior. I mean, for good or bad, because when they start doing bad things, they're corrected. When they start doing what people consider to be good things, they're encouraged and almost patted on the back. So again, learned behavior. Thank you.
Brother Kwame, can I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Now, I want to also relate to the previous paragraph that I've also put in the screen before the highlighted paragraph. But I want, first of all, to engage us on a few things. One, there's an element of evil coming in, bad, and good coming in. Is each society have what is evil for them and what is not evil for them? Or every society agree on what is evil? That there's a common understanding of what is evil in every society, and that what is evil in my society, in my community, is also evil in another community, or what is evil in this society is also evil in another society. Well, to me, I don't think it's the same. And I think that's a conversation that I think is Plato that was engaging in one of his books, I don't know, it's the Symposium, on asking of some of the few things on, for example, when did we agree that this color is a standard white color and this other color is a red color? Does it mean at what level did the whole society in the whole world agree that this is red and it is not blue, and this is blue and it is not red? So when it comes to evil, is there a global agreement in the entire communities or societies that this is evil and this is not evil? I know the constitutions and the laws, call it the common law or whatever the law that came in, try to put in some of the constitutions to guide the society on that if you do this is punishable and this is not punishable. But the question again goes back to, do we really have a standard evil and good that is shared across by all societies? And my next question is, now that we have these three strands, Christianity, Islam, and African tradition, if you have to arrive at harmony, do they share common morality? Or what is moral in Christianity is not the same what is moral in tradition or what's moral in Islam? I really like to hear some thoughts on that. Thank you.
Yeah, the floor is still open. Sistama, your hand is up. You may share your thoughts. Thank you. You'll have to unmute yourself, I'm afraid.
I'm pressing the wrong thing. Apologies, I couldn't speak earlier. I've got a few domestic issues which I'm having to sort out in between listening. Was it Pigeon who spoke last?
Yes.
Yes, you've raised a good point. I think one of the things that we should all think about in terms of good and evil is that they're not absolutes. It's almost like there is a continuum, and what is deemed to be good and what is deemed to be evil changes over time, changes from perspective in terms of what you said, society, but also within a society or community. So something which today we may consider to be bad or evil within a community, our own community, tomorrow may have changed. That's one thing. Two, what impacts on our human behavior are a range of things. One, our own unique makeup as individual human beings. Two, the social group and settings we're in, the family, the community, the village, the town, whatever. And the whole issue about children's behavior and learning starts from the minute they're born. Children actually, if we actually look at the average child, the amount of learning a child does it even before the child gets to school is amazing, because they learn to walk, talk, a whole range of things just from those who are around them, but also everything else that they're exposed to in the environment. So if they put their hand in the fire, they learn that fire burns. So that's another thing I will say. And I think one of the things I was trying to say last week is we all have the capacity to do bad things, and there is not one human being on the face of the earth who has not done something which can be defined as bad within their family, community, country, etc., etc. We all have the capacity to do bad, and we've all done bad at some points in our life. We all have the capacity to do good, and we've all done, every day we're doing a mixture of the two. And I think I gave the example of, because I think sometimes when we think, I gave the example of a human being, or one of our ancestors who actually a lot of people today will look up to, Malcolm X. Omawali he became in the end. When he was Malcolm Little, he was doing a whole lot of dodgy things. And then he transformed over time based on a range of things which impacted on him, including the Nation of Islam, which was the organization, the first progressive, positive organization that he joined. In terms of, I think what Nkrumah and others were saying is, in terms of our philosophical principles that underpin us, we need to take that which is good for our society and our communities at any particular point in time from a range of sources. Those overwhelming range of sources which impact on us are, in terms of religion and faith, are Christianity, Islam, and our traditional African faiths or religions. And we take at this point in time those aspects which will benefit and help build up the majority, build up our communities and our society so that the majority of our people live well. And that's the only way I can say it. And then probably I finally, just to give an example of how one act can be deemed differently in different places and different times. We all think thou shalt not kill. It's an ultimate sign. It says it in some of the holy texts, thou not shalt kill. That is a sin, an ultimate bad thing to do. But actually, if we look across time in all societies, in all communities, there are times when killing is sanctioned. Capital punishment, for instance, in a whole range of societies across time and even across the world today, it's deemed acceptable to execute somebody. It's deemed acceptable to kill somebody in warfare. Do you see what I'm saying? So speak always in ultimates, and I'm not even making a judgment now about whether it is or it isn't, but to speak always in ultimates is a challenge, let me put it that way. Okay, I'll stop there.
Okay, so let's continue the discussion. Sistama, let's pick it from where you've just finished. So there are various dimensions of the question. There is the individual level, there is a societal level, there's a cultural level, but the pigeon have some very, very, you might say, deep questions, immanent questions. And some of your answers are that even if you take a culture, it can change. Even the same culture, can change its mind, or the culture can transform itself, where at one point this is good, then it's bad another time, and so on and so forth. So let's now go straight then to what I consider to be the nub of the issue. And Brother Pigeon has asked, that question, I think Brother Welcome has also asked in terms
Yeah.
of philosophy.
Brother
So,
Kwame.
but before that, yes.
No, sorry for interrupting. I know when you come in, I
You're not
remember what you read
interrupting.
before.
You're not interrupting, please. Yeah, carry on.
No, I know. I remember what you read before in chapter, I think 2,
Mm-hmm.
that one, this society is not static. I think we came across something like that.
Yes,
And
yes.
2 was that there's not a perfect society.
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, so I just remember those ones as you wanted to come in. I'll remember again what you read sometimes back. So please just proceed.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. It's always good for us to go back to what we've read and relate it to what we are reading now. I think Brother Benny had his hand up. I think it would be wise to listen to Brother Benny before we move to what I call the nub of the issue. Brother Benny, please come in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Kwame. Well, when it comes to philosophy, in fact, looking at the word itself as it has been, has been the foundation of writing this book as a philosophical, as a philosophy, material. What comes to my mind as I also go back and even go forward a little bit too. I was looking at Kuma talking about environment, but I believe we are going to come back to it. But the whole matter of philosophy is diverse, because we have various kinds of philosophy. There's not a single philosophy for everyone. And how do we come about with philosophy? It's also the exercise of our mental capacities, our imagination, experiences, our expectations, and projections. There are people who set themselves to do these things in behalf of society, and whatever they come up with, in some contexts they may be debated, in some contexts not. But then you find that these are the people who set the parameters for society to operate within, and they can actually change from time to time once another person writes to contest what has been already proposed or propounded rather. And then also, because we differ in our environment, for instance, being in Africa, somebody in Europe, somebody in Asia, somebody in Latino side, definitely our experiences and environment may make us to have certain parameters which may not be similar in a lot of ways. But at the same time also, we can have some few similarities whereby those are not even contestable issues. Normally, what are issues when it comes to philosophy are the ones which may differ from how I see the world and how you see the world. And today, if we look at even the way things are going now, in fact, like this morning, I was tracking certain news on some of these news media, and what I found is that Trump is reviving piracy, but then it's been sanitized in such a way that a whole president is hijacking something, and it's a kind of celebration. But then what is moving him is the kind of philosophy they hold, which maybe I in Africa may find it difficult to say that it is good because Americans haven't gone out to say that we are protesting, which means that it is okay. You see, so for me, I feel that when we are talking about philosophy, we have to be a little bit cautious in the sense that our philosophy, as we may see it from Nkrumah's perspective, may differ from others. And that is the reason why I feel that we need to actually also look at what others, how others see the world apart from us. How do they see the world? So that it helps us in shaping what we are doing and also planning whatever we are doing. It will enable us to also know how when we come together. I mean, in the case of meeting or an interface, what will happen if I say that one man's meat is another man's coin? Yeah, thank you.
Mm. Brother Benny, thank you. So Brother Benny has raised the issue of philosophy in the same way as Brother Welcome also raised it and asked a question. And Brother Welcome asked the question, how does philosophy help us to resolve this? So,
Yeah.
so thank you for that. So let's then go on to the nub of the issue, which is that if the Islamic African, the traditional African, and the Euro-Christian African, if they are all animated by conflicting philosophies, question to all of us: is there a basis for them to be able to unite and work together in harmony? Nkrumah says yes. How? He says, well, let's come up with a new philosophy called philosophical consensusism. And so philosophical consensusism, so it's saying that the philosophy must be based on the understanding of conscience. In light of what Sister Amma said the last time, which is that all of us have a tendency to do good or bad, or to be neutral. If that is the case, such is the case with the traditional African, with the Euro-Christian African, or the Islamic African. All three Africans, male or female, young or old, high or tall or not tall, all of them have the capacity or the inherent, I would prefer to use the word tendency rather than capacity, because sometimes you can have the tendency to do evil, but you don't have the capacity to do it. So you don't do it. So I'll use the word tendency. So all of these have tendencies to do both good and or good or bad. So the question then we should ask ourselves is, if that is the case, what do we think is the fundamental conscience position, or the fundamental position in terms of the conscience, that we think that it doesn't matter whether you are a Euro-Christian, whether you are a traditional African, whether you are an Islamic African. These are things that your conscience should tell you, despite what you've learned, like Sister Ida was reminding us of, some things are learned and so on, some things we inherit and so on. Is there a conscience position? Is there a position in the human conscience? In there, inside us, all these three Africans, do we think that there is something there which we can all tap into that doesn't speak Euro-Christianity, speak traditional African, speak Islamic Africa? It doesn't speak any language. The language it speaks is the language of the conscience. And by the conscience here, I mean that in us which tells us whether something is good or bad, that which guides us. It is not learned, it's in us. When we are about to act, it will tell us irrespective of religion, culture, and so tell us this is right, this is wrong, this is right, this is wrong. Is there such a thing? That's my question to all of you. Is there such a thing? Is there such a conscience? The floor is open. Please share. Unmute yourself and share. Thank you.
Brother Kwame?
Yes,
Yeah, I want to contribute to the question.
please do.
Now, you see, what you are asking is what I think Kwame Nkrumah covered in the previous paragraph. Because Nkrumah, and I think is the question we were trying to handle last time. If you look at the paragraph ending with the before the such a philosophical, humanist principles of Africa. And the key question is then, I think you ask us severally in various languages or nationalities. The question we should maybe be asking is there such a thing as a original humanist principle of Africa? Because Nkrumah says that then the only thing that can then be the center for harmony is that the original humanist principle should be our compass on how we harmonize. Because if you read that paragraph, it says that, Nkrumah says that, let me read the last paragraph, that a new emergent ideology is therefore required. An ideology which can solidify in a philosophical statement, but at the same time, an ideology which will not, and unlike that one, will not abandon the original humanist principle of Africa. So I think then the key thing that we need to maybe understand properly is what was the original humanist principle? I know some people refer to the Ma'at and the laws of Ma'at. Were they the original humanist principles? Some people refer to Ubuntu. I am because you are. Was that the original humanist principle? Because then that is the only thing, I think, from what Nkrumah is saying, that can give us the true north as we try to harmonize these three strands. But that's my thinking. Thank you.
Thank you for your thinking. I think your thinking has brought us to the right question, which is what I'm asking variously. Are we all here agreed that there is such a thing as original humanist principles? Is there such a thing? Humanist in the sense also that we are the original humans. Everybody got their humanity from us. So when you are seeing somebody doing bad things, they got it from you because you gave birth to them. So don't run away and think that they didn't get it from you. They got a tendency from you. So is there such a thing? Is there such a thing as an original humanist principle? The floor is open. In the meantime, welcome those of you who have joined us not too long ago. ACUP Ghana, Brother Kwejo, Ajay Yeboah, welcome. And I think those are the new ones that have joined us. Yes. So the floor is open. Please unmute yourself and share with us. Is there such a thing as an original humanist principle? And what is it? How do you define it? Can such humanist principles spell out how we should live as humans? Thank you. The floor is open. Thank you.
I think I would take the Christian.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, carry on.
I'd take the biblical one that says at the death of Jesus, the rules were written in your heart. When the temple curtain was broken and was split in two. So I think that in every individual, personally, I think that in every individual, they have that ability, just like Sister Amma was saying, to do good and bad, and that it's written in their DNA what is good and what is bad. So I think I leave it there, but that's what I think. I think, yes, we can all go wrong, and some can even end up being saints. But, you know, I think that the principle of good and bad is written in every individual's makeup. Thank you.
Any more ideas? Unmute yourself and share, please.
Hello.
Hi.
It's quite interesting. The question, if there is a such thing, original humanist principle. Yes, I will say yes, there is. Because if we look at, I'll use Africa as an example. We have got, well, the main religions we practice, Islam, Christianity, and our African tradition. But there is always something that we will all have in common, despite our differences in our religious practice. Things like morality, ethics, stealing. So if you look at any of these books, you will find that these things are not something that they will condone. So when you look at it, even though we have this difference, or even those who don't even believe in any faith, there are certain things we all agree on that, which we all have in common. So I will say yes, there is.
Can you give us examples? Any example?
For example, I know if I walk in a shop and took something and walk away without paying it, in any part of the world I go, it would be considered as stealing. And when I'm doing it, I know what I'm doing is wrong.
Okay. So you would say stealing is an example
Is an
of
example.
the original humanist principles.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Do you want to add any, or it's okay if you don't want to add any more? I can go around and hear from other people, but feel free to add another one if you want to, Sister Amina.
Yeah, I'll give the floor to another person to
Okay,
add.
thank you. Yes, who else wants to add to those original humanist principles? Thank you. The floor is open. Unmute yourself and share.
Yeah, Brother Kwame.
Yes, please.
Brother Kwame and everybody else in the meeting, can you hear me? I'm having some
we can hear you, brother.
problems.
Yeah, brother, we can hear you.
Yeah, some of the original humanist.
Brother, welcome. Carry on, please. Thank you.
I wanted to say some of the original humanist principles that we have named last session was my sister there has mentioned don't steal. So we said all the 10 commandments. So are part of the original humanist principle. Ubuntu, equity, justice for all, and so forth. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Any more? Brother Pidgin, your hand is up.
Yeah, Brother
any
Kwame,
more?
I'm trying to connect to what you read previously. Remember, there's somewhere where Nkrumah is introducing the element of egalitarianism. And I'm trying to think whether egalitarianism was our original human principle. Because then Nkrumah also talks about, remember when he was talking about referencing to Plato in the element of the society and the element of Socrates with the Meno, where Nkrumah insists that differences in functionality do not take away the intrinsic worthiness of human beings. So then does it mean that the intrinsic worthiness of human being, which means the equality of a person in terms of any person, there's no lesser being, there's no whatever, And if somebody takes that principle that every human being are equal, irrespective of gender, age, or whatever color or anything about, then can that then become a principle that can then guide the so-called humanist approach? And then is egalitarianism a bit speaking to this? Because then we were trying to compare egalitarianism versus individualism a bit in those individualist societies. And then egalitarianism still insists on this. So I would think that that can maybe be part of what can be then be seen as humanist principle, but just my thinking.
So Brother Pigeon, sorry, I got distracted a little bit. So you are saying, what are the original humanist principles again?
I'm referencing on Nkrumah's previous talk
Mm-hmm.
on, I think it was philosophy and society,
Yes.
that when he examined various society, now that we are speaking of society again, when he examined various society, because now we are speaking as society in an ideological angle, but in the initial chapter, we are looking at the society in a philosophical angle. And then Nkrumah was bringing that philosophy that in the comparison of hierarchies that Plato insisted in a society, that maybe teachers were more, or doctors, or lawyers, or irrespective of the job position you take, that such persons were now superior in a society than maybe the slave boys or those other lower cadre. Nkrumah insists, I think he clearly bring it out that the functional differences, in terms of physical differences maybe, or the work somebody does not take away the intrinsic worthiness of human being, which means every human being is equal and is worthy. And then I'm bringing the element whether that then speaks to the egalitarianism that then Nkrumah introduces, as a then bring egalitarianism, the equality in a society, that then can be seen as the original humanist principle. So that's what I'm trying to think.
Okay. Yeah. So in other words, all human beings, as far as Africa is concerned, have an intrinsic worth, and worth means value here, and that value is not diminished whether you are a president, whether you are a housemaid, whether you're a cleaner, whether you sweep roads. That initial worthiness is still there. So irrespective of the position in society, that initial worthiness is there. So can we say then that the original humanist principles are rooted in the idea in Africa that all human beings have intrinsic worthiness, or that they are equal as human beings? And if all human beings are equal as human beings, then if you're a Euro-Christian African and you subscribe to that, or you are a traditional African, you subscribe to that, and you're an Islamic African, you subscribe to this fundamental African position, then that can become a basis for us to build a new society. What do we think? Is that a fair summary? That we can build a new society if we all subscribe to this position, which position? The fundamental worthiness of all human beings, so that it's not right to steal, to kill, and so on and so forth, because the person you want to kill or steal from is just as worthy as you are, and therefore you shouldn't be doing those things. Are we happy with that as a philosophical position?
Brother Kwame?
Yes, the floor is open. Yes.
Now I know it'll give space for others, but now that I raised that element, that aspect, I want to maybe give my thoughts on what you're trying to bring. Because you see, the problem with this Euro-Christian or Islamic thing is the hierarchy. And I think that's what Nkrumah was dealing with in chapter 2, that he brought forms. I don't know if it's Aristotle or who brought forms.
Hold on. Brother Pigeon, hold on. The fundamental issue is not hierarchy as such. Do you know why? The fundamental issue is that is whether you are even a human being. You understand? Because some of the racist views, their position is not even that you should be in this. This hierarchy should be there. They don't think you should even be there in the first place. You know, so it's more fundamental than that. But if we accept a hierarchy in itself is not the problem, because somebody has to wash the dishes, and somebody has to make the bed, and somebody has to build the house, somebody has to build the road. These are all different skill sets which a society needs. And just because I am the one that washes the dishes doesn't mean I am less of a human being than the one who built the house. So I am suggesting that hierarchy in this here is not really the central issue for us. But please go on.
Brother Kopa, I was not speaking on hierarchy on that angle.
Mm.
You look at what Nkrumah was tackling in chapter 2, the divinity, the so-called the prophets and the rest, that there were people who then were worked to intervene on behalf of others. And you see the element that we were born of original sin. You see that element in some of the religion element, that then the religion plays a role now to save you from sin, which means already you are a person who is already wrong, and that you need to be right or to be saved. You see, that then takes away the element whether you are equal, because the person who sees you as a sinner or a wrong person in society, and then already judge you that you are maybe not at the category where they are, and the element that they were then so-called the people, either the pastors or the bishops that felt that they were closer to God to intervene on behalf of others, and then they saw that others were either below them. That's what I'm trying to talk about, not even in terms of the works of a society and division of labor within the society. Because that thinking and processing of that thoughts, even if you look at the religious connection to God or the so-called creator in terms of whether Islam or Christian, that then if we are all equal, if we take that egalitarianism approach, then it means we are even all equal before that so-called creator. If it's God, we're equal before him, and that there's nobody who is more equal above us to intercede in the so-called on behalf of us to somebody else. So if we take that the religious element of Euro-Christian or Islam can take away that and agree that nobody is lesser and nobody is above somebody to either be more holier or to be more human or to be more clean or whatever you call, that we are all equally respectful of where you come from, then if they can respect that humanist approach, then I think we will not have conflict. But if you see the conflict coming from religion today, whether you get in the continent, some people are fighting the others, other people preferring their religion, other people thinking that their tradition is more superior than the other person's. So there's a conflict of what is best and what is not best, and what is evil and what is not evil. And that's the problem.
Okay, so what is your, don't go yet, so what is your response to Ras Palar? He says that, look, black is supreme. It's as simple as that. Okay? There's no argument there. It's just the way nature is, that black is supreme. Every other color comes from black. That is just how nature is. So if you bring that to human society, then it's saying that the person with the blackest skin, the Anunnaki, if you like, are just supreme. What is your response to that?
No, Brother,
you don't have to answer it if you want to come back to it. You can come back later.
I'll just respond to it quickly. By saying, for example, if a father gives birth to a son and a daughter, does it mean the father is supreme? Because the child will also give birth to another child one day and will be a parent. So your product is you, which means if the father gives birth to a son, the son is the father. Just that maybe there might be differences in ages or time. So I don't think then there's anything supreme. As long as they come from the same thing, then they're the same thing, which I mean, as long as the ethnic colors come from black, then they're just blacks in the different shades. Doesn't mean that they're more lesser evil or lesser whatever in that context. They're just equal people, product of the same black. So that's what I can approach it from that.
So you are saying that supremacy in this sense should not affect the intrinsic worthiness of the person. Is that a fair summary?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, because there's nothing supremacy as long as you understand that everything originates from the same point. So what does then makes them more lesser or inferior?
Okay. Thank you very much. Brother Ben, your hand is up. Yeah, please share your thinking, and then we'll move on to the every society's place in nature. Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with Brother Nunaki when it comes to superior, black being superior, because
No, he didn't say superior. He's here. He can speak for himself. He talks about the supremacy of black.
Supremacy. Yeah, but
not
it's
superior. He's not saying superior. He's just saying supremacy.
Okay, supremacy, even because the word supremacy itself can invoke certain behavior when people take that position, even though we haven't done that in Africa, because I believe strongly that our basic philosophy as Ubuntu, and in Akan we will say Uyonkudana Wada. When your neighbor sleeps, you will also sleep. You see, this prevails across Africa, that we haven't actually, until colonization came and they fomented these things, we haven't actually underestimate one another, like we are higher and others are lower. You see. So, but then I posted something just now that if we look at all that, I mean, Osagyefo has been arguing in terms of the better fulfillment of society through the environment. And then in the quest for this fulfillment, what has happened is that we are bulldozing each other today. We have politicians who would not want to consider how their societies will develop. But I mean, how much they have in their bank. But for me, what I see critically is that the role of responsibility as we embark on trying to do good for ourselves, to improve our circumstances, is crucial. But then, how does that also come? It's based on the kind of prevailing philosophy which influence that society. You see, and it's transferred from one generation to another as a guiding model in order for people to function responsibly. You see, this is what today is also lacking in Africa, because the kind of education we've had and the kind of religious knowledge that has come doesn't actually make us responsible. It rather takes the sense of responsibility outside somewhere, whereby if something bad happens, it's the devil. If something good happens, it's a God. But then these entities, we have no connection with these things. So at the end of the day, if we can come back to our African humanist philosophy, which is Ubuntu, and whichever way, in whichever language you may put it, then we are going to take care of each other. You see. So let me not take much time, but at least land on this one, that we as Africans need to look inside, not outside. We need to come back home and say that what were we have, because we've been talking that these people took from us and then went and then did whatever they did to that. Would that be good if we go chasing those ones? No.
But I think you are assuming
ourselves.
Yeah,
Yes.
but Benny, but
Yeah.
Raspal is not saying that because you are superior.
No, I'm not talking. Not Rasta now.
anybody.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about the book. I mean, what we are discussing, please. I've
Okay.
gone past Rasta now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Brother Pigeon, scroll down so we can continue the paragraph and share our thinking. So now that we are clear what the original humanist principles are, every society's place in nature. Brother Joe Kuve Yao, welcome. Brother Joe Kuve Yao, welcome. Interesting name, because my uncle was called Kuve. I don't know if he's related to me, but anyway.
Thank you.
I was saying that the name Kuve is from my uncle's my maternal uncle. So I'm not sure if you're related to me, but anyway, that's it.
So
That's
you can speak
another
Ewe.
time. Yes, I speak my mother's side.
Okay.
On Mafi.
Akpe, dodgy.
Come
Will
on.
dodgy.
You are. But so let's thank you. Let's continue. So so the yes, Brother Pigeon, you've read this for us. Let's hear people's thinking on what is on the paragraph on the page, based on what we've discussed. So here, let's come to this paragraph with the understanding that the society we are going to be dealing with is the society that has been harmonized in terms of the three strands. They've been harmonized and now placed in nature. Remember, it came to nature unharmonized because of Islam, Euro-Christianity, all meeting traditional Africa. And now it's been enlarged by Islam and Euro-Christianity. And now it's been harmonized after the struggle for independence. And we are in the post-independence era, but still we are still struggling to harmonize Africa. Africa is still not united. Africa is still divided. There are groups that have been suppressed and oppressed. I sent a video to Brother Pigeon and the UNA the other time where one of the leading voices of the Igbo society in Nigeria was talking about how they are being oppressed within the Nigerian neo-colonial state and how they are not even able to breathe, and that they want the society to be neo-colonized, if I may put it that way. So yeah, so let's go around and share our thinking on what is on the screen. Every society is placed in nature up to transformation of society. What do you think? I'll start with I just followed my screen, along my screen, but I'll go to a female voice first because we've had a lot of male voices recently. Let's start with Sister Amma. Thank you. So everybody is going to be allowed to share their thinking, and then we'll listen to everyone. Yeah. Sister Amma, what do you think about what is on the screen? Okay, Sister Amma, I'll come back to Sister Amma later. Sister Amina, what do you think?
I am trying to digest and
Okay, I'll come back to you then if that's okay. Yeah, also I'll come back to you. Continue to digest. I'll come back to you. Brother Coco. Brother Coco, what do you think? Share your thinking, please.
Greetings, comrades.
Greetings. Brother Coco, before you continue, Brother Pigeon is asking for an economic think tank for the ATP. Please, you need to respond. Yeah. Okay, please carry on. Thank you.
All right. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
Okay. We are talking about society and nature here. And we are talking about development and transformation. So what we are being taught here is, again, let's remember, an ideology is important, is at the center of this paragraph. Because here there is talk of socio-political theories. And those socio-political theories are the ones which form a foundation on which a society can be transformed or can be developed. And if you are a society which is situated in nature, which is well endowed as Africa is, you expect that society will be transformed by the nature or the mineral resources in which that society is placed. And in turn, once that society has then been transformed by the resources that it has, it then transforms the nature. And that nature then comes back to transform the society. That's why he says the society is, there's a correlation, is caught in between a correlation of transformation and development. So this is a challenge for us as Africans to think, what is it that is our ideology? What is it that forms the foundation of our socio-political theory of transformation of African society? And bearing in mind that the transformation of an African society will in turn have an effect on the environment in which that society is found. Hence, again, there is that. So it's a chain of events, one leading to the other, just because there is that transformation. But that doesn't mean this is all positive. If it's negative, then of course it's going to affect the nation negatively. It's the same. If you end up in a pollution of some form, expect that you're going to lose your young quickly. And as you lose your young quickly, your brightest, you're going to struggle to effect change on the environment for the betterment of society. Let's take, for instance, again, the Africans. In this case, we had materials, we had labor, but our labor force was carried away into the West to transform other societies. So what happened to our own society? It fell short of the development it should have experienced given the materials it had. Hence, when Africa was colonized, it was at its weakest capacity because it had lost materially. So it wasn't able to defend itself, and it wasn't able to transform the environment which African people find themselves in. I think I've tried by all means to give my thinking, but happy to be guided by questions in case anyone has. Thank you.
Yes, I have a question. My question is, don't mute yourself yet. My question is, the two global competing social political theories today, some time ago, were socialism and capitalism. Since the collapse of the Soviet Union, balanced by the rise of communist China, the social political theory, the dominant one, is capitalism. At the same time, as you said, if we are going to root African development in our own systems, would you agree that in that case, we have to look at African communalism as the basis? That's my question for you. Thank you. You need to unmute yourself, Brother Coco. You are muted. Brother Coco, you are muted. I don't know if he can hear me. He's talking, but he's okay. Brother Coco is not hearing me, so we'll come back to Brother Coco. Let me go back to Sister Amma, if she can now speak. Brother Coco has unmuted himself. Brother Coco, you were muted, so we didn't hear what you said. Okay, I can't hear. Am I not audible, Brother Pigeon? Am I audible? Or is
We
it
can
just
hear you, but we can't hear Brother Coco.
I hear Brother Coco? Okay, so I'll just
We
check.
can't.
Okay, thank you, Sister Amma. Are you able to come back now on what is on the screen? Okay, all right. Amma is still not ready. So let's go to Brother Joe Kuveyao. A new member, never seen him in one of our classes, so welcome. I don't know what attracted you. You can share with us what brought you to us. But please, if you are able to, share your thoughts on what is on the screen. Thank you.
In actual fact, I can't see well. The words are too small for me to pick.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Screen.
No worries.
But I've been in your class before. I think about 2 times before. Maybe
Okay.
that was last year.
Yes. I remember. It's a long time ago.
In
You were
actual
almost,
fact,
you were nearly kicked out
African
by
Renaissance.
that pigeon because we kick out people who haven't attended for 6 months from our WhatsApp group. Anyway, welcome. Yes, I remember. Welcome. Yeah. Please carry on.
Thank you. Yeah, African Renaissance, as we all say it is now, we need to transform our governance systems to suit our indigenous knowledge. As Kwame Nkrumah and co have started it, and the Agenda 2063 is being jettisoned. African governments are not going back to that document. There are a whole lot of things we're supposed to do if really we are for African unity and one African with one voice. I don't know why our founding fathers, their dreams, today's governments of Africa just throw it overboard. And I always cherish this class and the Pan-African Free Academy. These two groups or knowledge-based classes, I always cherish it. So I think this is the time for us to liberate ourselves and decolonize our mindsets, for us to what we're supposed to do as Black race. We need to do it because this 21st century is our time to liberate ourselves as Africans. So only thing I can share for now is we need to deepen the education of African liberation.
No, thank you. Thank you so much for encouraging us. We appreciate your encouragement. We appreciate your observation that we are one of, as you said, two groups that you cherish. We cherish being cherished, if I may put it that way. so thank you very much. Yeah. So Sister Amma says she can't contribute. Brother Kwejo also can't speak because of where he is. So let's hear from Sister Ida. Thank you. Sister Priscilla, I believe, has joined us. Yes, Sister Priscilla, welcome. Sister Ida, yes. Sister Priscilla, in the meantime, read what is on the screen and share your thinking with us later when you are ready. Yes, Sister Ida.
Well, I've been listening, and some of it has, every so often, my mind says to me, what about the women? What about the women? Because I don't know that though every society is placed in nature, I don't always think and seeks to influence nature. I don't always think that, especially in this passage, that anything has been said about women, and I don't think that women have been encouraged to influence.
Well, is there anything here that talks about men?
No, it's just how our conversation has gone.
How has it gone? That says that women.
To me, there's something that is hasn't had. I know. Well, you talk about men and women are the same, but there's something.
Are the same in terms of are the same in terms of intrinsic worthiness?
Everything, Yes.
Intrinsic worthiness.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean
But
that women are not oppressed or suppressed.
Well, I feel that they are sort of, especially in, unless it's a matriarchal
No,
society.
yeah, you're
I
right.
think especially in African societies, I see them as being more oppressed than the men, and also not necessarily having a right to say in a lot of the things that are this passage sort of talks about. The correlation represents the toil of man, both as a societal being and as an individual. But I don't necessarily think that women have that freedom to express themselves however they want in African societies. They might do in the markets and stuff like that, but I don't think that they're necessarily given necessary. Their expressions are necessarily taken into serious account, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, not even matriarchal societies.
Well, especially matriarchal societies. I think that women have to abide and do as they're told more than sort of be the trendsetters. Yeah, let's put it that way.
But in the Ashanti society, which is an Akan society, the Asante Hene is chosen by the Queen Mother.
Yeah, but
so
that's one.
She's the one that the whole society is matriarchal, and inheritance is matriarchal. You are who you are because of your material lineage. So how can women be dominated in such a society?
But I'm saying that I don't feel that they're given the rights to be expressive in their thinking.
So in terms of what we've read then, what is your message? That are you saying that if every society is placed in nature, the transformation and the development that the paragraph talks about, are you saying it cannot happen unless the women are given their correct or their rightful place in such a society?
It's talking more of a matriarchal society rather than giving or trying to raise women up in
So Sisada, my question is, I don't know, your line is breaking.
Oh, sorry.
So my question is, with respect to this paragraph, what is your message on the role of women in terms of transformation and development?
Okay, especially at the end where it says, for a social political theory has a section which determines the way in which
social forces
are to be deployed in order to increase the transformation of society. And I'm saying that I don't think that women have an equal right to that deployment and order. That it's more a matriarchal thing that we see more often. And I think
you mean patriarchal. You mean patriarchal is the dominant.
Yeah, sorry, I said patriarchal thing. And I think that this paragraph slightly sets off alarm bells for me when it comes to women.
I think your point is well taken philosophically, because the paragraph, that paragraph agrees with you, because it's saying that for that to happen, you have to deploy your social forces. Now, if the majority of individuals in that society are women,
who are dominated by men.
Well, if you set aside the domination for a moment, if the majority are women, and if they cannot be deployed effectively because of all the reasons, including domination, like you have mentioned, then there's a problem. Because then that society, sorry?
I just find that there's the alarm bells for me
Yeah,
in
but
this paragraph.
it's not just for you. That's the point I'm making to you. It is
Okay,
for
thank you.
the writer of the paragraph as well.
Okay.
Remember, Nkrumah is the one that was for what? Human equality. He wanted women. If it was under Nkrumah, you remember that women first went to parliament. It was under Nkrumah, the CPP, that women became pilots, women became doctors. In fact, when I became an Nkrumahist, before I understood conscientism, because remember, there are two parallel philosophies that people attribute to Nkrumah. There is the attribution of Nkrumahism, and then there is conscientism. Interestingly, when Nkrumah wrote his book on philosophy, he didn't call it Nkrumahism, he called it conscientism. So people still don't understand the relationship between Nkrumahism and conscientism. And when you tell them that actually Nkrumahism is conscientism, they are like, hold on, but Nkrumah talked about Nkrumahism elsewhere. Yes, he did. So coming back to what you're saying, Sister Ida, the CPP and the Nkrumah government was all for uplifting women. You recall that it was Hannah Kujo of the CPP that went to the north of Ghana those days, because most of the women there, you recall, did not wear clothes. The CPP took clothes. It was a campaign of the CPP to take clothes to the north and clothe the women properly. And then education, because the British basically just impoverished that whole zone, that whole region. It was the CPP that brought them into education, and why they got free education, both men and women. All this to say that every human being has intrinsic worthiness. But I've deviated from what I was saying. What I was saying was that when I first came to Nkrumahism, and I asked the question, well, what is Nkrumahism? At the time, nobody could tell me until a gentleman, he's passed away now, trying to remember his name. He's an Nkrumahist. And then he said to me, this is what he said to me. This is what he said. Before Nkrumah came, if you were the son or the daughter of a kenke seller, so those who don't know what kenke is a staple food in Ghana, by the roadside, made by the groups, especially the Ga and the Evers, but Ga mostly. It's in Accra. You can find it in Accra. It's sold by the roadside, and it's made from corn. It's a staple food that people eat. I eat it as well. It's called kenke, Kenkey, kenke. Now, here's what he said: if you are the son or daughter of a kenke seller, don't dream of being a doctor, a lawyer, an architect. Yeah, don't dream of that, because you will not even be allowed to go to school. You will not even go to school anyway, because you're a kenke seller. You are nobody. So if you are that, then your children are doomed to use the phrase from other groups, the hewers of wood and drawers of water. That is what you will be. You will be at the bottom of society, be trampled upon. Nobody cares about you. You will be security men and women for the rich. Those days they were called veranda boys and girls. You will sleep on the porch if you are lucky, or you sleep in the hut. Basically, you were nothing. And he said to me, it was when Nkrumah came that for the first time, if you were a kenke seller, okay, your child could go to school, and your child could be a doctor. Your child could be a lawyer. Your child could be an accountant. Your child could be anything that child is capable of under the Nkrumah government. And this is what he said to me. He said to me, you are asking me what is Nkrumahism. I don't know how to put it intellectually or ideologically, but this is what Nkrumahism meant to us. You see, and that was his explanation to me. So from that, I understood what Nkrumah stood for. Remember, before the other time, talking about a long time ago, before that, I myself did not know what Nkrumahism was or what conscientism is. This is before I became conscientized myself, right? And I was grappling with what is it that we are trying to understand. I mean, today, I call myself, because I have been asked to call myself that by none other than the late Charles Heyman, whose brother was Eric Heyman, who was there when constantism was taught by Nkrumah himself on the blackboard at Flagstaff House. He's the one that said that is what you are, and that's what I wanted to describe yourself. You know, today I can be here and be chatting with you and discussing with you. This is what this means. This is what. If you go many years back, I was myself struggling, okay, and I was asking key questions. One of the gentlemen who helped me was a Muslim called Al-Haji Brahma. Again, he's passed away. You know, may his soul rest in peace. You understand? So we work together, Muslims, Christians, traditionalists. We all work together. You know, when we had sessions, libation was poured. We did not discriminate, and that was the Nkrumah that Ghana, that Ghana meant to Nkrumah. That was a kind of Ghana that Nkrumah was building. You know, where if you're a Luo, you can become a parliamentarian for a Kikuyu in a Kikuyu town. You don't have to be Kikuyu. You can be Kikuyu and be the MP for a Luo town. I mean, that was the Ghana that Nkrumah was building. And so that's one of the reasons why there has not been internecine religious conflict as we find in Nigeria, in Ghana. That is one of the reasons. So I just thought I'll use this opportunity to start that because of the issue raised about the role of women, and to say that for consensusism, the social forces that have to be deployed in order to increase the transformation of society cannot happen if the majority of those social forces, which are women, are not part of it. Then that society will be problematic to transform society. And if there's any reason why our societies have been transformed as they should today, how about looking at the role women are playing in our societies? And I'm talking about all women, not just the few who have made it to universities, who are sitting in parliament, who are sitting in ministries. I'm talking about the majority of our women. So that's my comment on that. Sister Ida, you wanted to come back.
Yes, having said what you have said, I don't think, I don't remember many women being in Nkrumah's government as ministers. It all seems to be men.
And you know why, don't you?
You told us what you just...
Yeah, but you know why, don't you? Initially, you know why, don't you?
Word or whatever. But I wanted you to come back and tell me, no, there were all these women, and
no. But you know why, don't you? You need to look at the history. Before Nkrumah's government, women were not sent to school. Women were not sent to school. You remember, only men went to school, mostly. Women, families did not send their daughters to the schools. They only sent the boys. So by the time we come to independence, the kind of educated women that should have been there were not there. People like Nana Konadu Agyeman-Rawlings, remember, her father was one of the men who was working for the colonialists, and he was very wealthy, and he didn't have sons; he only had daughters. So he sent Nana Konadu to school, and Nana Konadu, remember, went to Achimota. Achimota was set up by the British, so there were very few. So that's the reason, not because the government didn't want women. And that is why under the CPP we got the first woman parliamentarian. It was under the CPP, a woman first went to parliament. Yeah. Okay. So let's hear from others. So we are sharing our thinking on what is on the screen. So let's go to Sister. I think Sister Ida has spoken. Let's go to a male voice. Let's go to Benny. Brother Benny, thank you.
Yeah, so listening to everyone, I think don't want to say something long, but the role of being responsible among we Africans can happen if we would take to conscientism education. As I'm thinking about how do we start this from the primary schools to, let's say, grade 12, whereby by that time, a child going through conscientism education would rise to be a responsible person, not the predatory officials we have today who don't even want to do the good thing that can make this continent progress or free ourselves from the Europeans and the America. Thank you.
Sister Benny, Brother Benny, interestingly, Sister Kanita, I remember, told us, and I went to check, that there is a school, just a school like you've just mentioned, in Kasoa, in the eastern region of Ghana. And it has a primary, it has a secondary, so it's doing very well. So there are lights in the tunnel. It only needs a Pan-Africanist government in place to extend such a school. But yeah, thank you very much for your comment. We are hearing everyone.
Thank you too.
That's okay. Let's now go to a female voice. Yes.
Now, just to notify Brother Benny that we are doing part of it to simplify the explanation of the text a bit for maybe many people
Yes,
who can take it in.
Okay, you can come in now and explain. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Brother Benny, I know there's been concerns not only from even the people outside, but even some of us who are inside initially, that conscientism was too heavy, even for understanding or even sharing of thoughts or anything else. Over a period of time, of course, some of us have been able to find it easy. But again, a concern was raised by Brother Windhoek, and we did some terms and all concepts that needed definition from conscientism, just that we are in the process of trying to either edit them and verify them before we release them. There were around 176. And I think 3 days ago, I took an initiative to try to simplify the text in terms of explanatory document, and then actually would be accompanied to this reading. So if somebody maybe read a paragraph like this, there's a simplified explanatory document, and then even have a simplified example that relates to your community or society. And I did one introduction, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. And that document is almost 250 pages, just trying to simplify every paragraph. In fact, like this chapter 3 is having 76 paragraphs. And I've done every paragraph with the explanatory thing, but of course, still Brother Kwame and some of the team have to edit it and come and bring it out. So we are trying our best to see how we can have a simplified explanatory document that can help individuals who can meet this document without us or without Brother Kwame to try to appreciate and take it in. So we're doing something in that line.
Yeah, that is great to hear. And some of us too should start doing something for the very basic levels. Thank you.
Yeah, Brother Benny, we agree with you. And also remember the Journal of Philosophical Conscientism. That is also something that we're also working on, and you are leading us on that. And some of these passages are going to be there. And what Brother Pidgin also should have mentioned is that our aim eventually, and I think Brother Kukuveyao has hinted at it, we are an academy in a way, so we are going to be to open up, if you like, a school, an educational institution online, like a university. That's what we hope to do, where we will actually teach these. And the discussions we are having are part of the sources for that school. So, yeah. So I thought I should mention that as well. Thank you. So let's now go to Sister Chizomo. Yeah, your thoughts on the paragraph, Sister Chizomo? Chizomo is not ready. So let me go back to Sister. Sister Amina is gone. Sister Amina is still. Sister Amina, have you had time to cogitate on the matter?
Yes, kind of.
Excellent. Share your thinking.
Looking at it, it made me reflect. Every society is placed in nature, and it seeks to influence the nature. So could it be that we as human, we have the willpower to change how we want to live and how we want our society to be? And
is that a question for us, or you are
yeah,
just reflecting?
it's like I was reflecting and questioning myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
We as human have a willpower to change how we want our environment to be. For instance, a sister raised a question about equality. So, and then you also mentioned something about before Nkrumah came in place, how the phrase about Ken Seller's child will not be a lawyer or doctor. But when he came to power, he shifted to give courage and hope to everybody that even if you are a Ken Seller's child, you still have the opportunity to be what you want to be. So looking at this context, you look at it before, like the nature people were living, that was normal for everybody to think that this opportunity is not there for me. But then when he came, he saw, like, he changed, he influenced the nature in a way to say, no, this can be changed. Equality could happen. Even if you come from a low society or low background, you can still be who you want to be. So to me, what I could make up from this is that we as Africans, we don't have that much excuse to say, okay, because of the colonialism, this and this has made us where we are. We still have an opportunity to rise up again and and then make Africa great. Sorry, in between I'm getting distracted because I've got kids on the back and doing things. I'm trying to pay attention on them and talking to you at the same time. Yeah,
That's
so
okay.
we as Africans, we don't have an excuse to say that where we are today is because of someone didn't do one or two things. Yes, that had happened. But what are we going to do? Are we willing to get ourselves out of that and make our continent a great place to be again? Because again, still the nature, the natural resources and everything that is being given to us is still there. When the colonial masters came, yes, a lot of things happened which we Africans are not happy of. But when they left, they did not carry our sea, they did not carry our land, they did not carry our brain. We still have it. So we can still educate ourselves, especially platforms like this. What you guys are doing is an amazing thing, because for me personally, I'm learning a lot. So these are all opportunities we could do to influence the nature, and impose such transformation upon nature. Because how it was, we can change to make it, to suit or how we want it to be. So this is my little understanding of the paragraph as someone who wants to see Africa great.
And you think that is little? That is amazing. Because you said, give me time to think about it. You've come back and you have just taken us to the moon. Thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution, sharing your thinking. Let's go to a male voice and then we'll come to Sister Amma. So, Brother General.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, leader. Share your thinking with us.
Hey, I see the time is almost up.
I know. Time flies, eh?
Yeah, time flies. No, my thinking is still on that issue of DNA. That the DNA of the melanin of the African is the supreme DNA or is the dominant DNA, if you want to put it like that. That is just my main point, and all the others are phenotypes, being that they are recessive genes. So, in that context or in that basis, we find out that from the science of the 12 cranial nerves of the body, of the anatomy, we find out that the African has a 9 DNA series and the European has a 6 DNA series. Now, what is interesting in this is that the gorilla, which is the apes, have a 5 DNA series. So you can see where I'm going with this. This is just pure science. You can go research it for yourself. It has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with emotionalism that we Africans have over whites or anything. It's just pure science. So that is why you find out that anything here on earth is engineered by a black man, because melanin also produces intelligence in the body. The more darker you are, the more intelligence or the more ability of you to have to be spiritual. That is just a fact. So that is what I will just say for now. Thank you.
Can you relate it to the paragraph, please?
So
In
now,
terms of-
according to the paragraph, so if I can relate to the paragraph,
Mhm.
the reason why the social political theory was put in place by the Anunnaki is so that the descendants of the Anunnaki, which is us, can continue to perpetuate the culture of the Anunnaki in its purest essence and not have it diluted as what's happening now. For one example, I'll make the making of the fire and the dancing or the railing around of a fire and beating of African drums has to do with an ancient science of frequency. You understand? So that is the just the one example I can make, that a cultural continuation that is from African society that was designed by the Anunnaki, so that our idea, even if maybe we can have disputes on what to do with our society, and immediately when we attend African rituals in unison, our frequencies rebalance into the same equilibrium level, therefore allowing us to have collective decisions. So this is a science that we had as Africans. I'm just using one example. There's many examples, but this is just one example. Other people, they can just see, like the Europeans, they believe that before they knew now the advent of AI, they believe that no, we Africans, we just like to be around the fire in terms for so that the protection of animals at night and for light. No, that is just basics of fire. There's an science behind, deeper science behind it, of making of fire, rallying of Africans around the fire, and chanting of sounds and drum signals, you see. So I'll just say that. Thank you.
I think we need a different session from you on the Saturday on DNA. Please get ready to share a DNA session for us on the DNA series. Thank you. Let's go to Sister Amma. Thank you. And I'll come to Sister Priscilla. Sister Amma first. Sister Amma, are you there? Sister Amma is not ready. So Sister Priscilla, you may come in if you are ready. Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I think I guess I was a little bit late, so pardon me for that.
You are pardoned, but do come early.
Yeah, next I'll make it on time. Sorry.
Thank you. We appreciate that in advance.
Anyway, I think I've been listening to all, and then it's quite interesting and more informative. That's a good job you guys are doing. But to start with, I believe that nature in its raw state is very beautiful and very wonderful. There's nothing wrong with how it has been positioned itself for us. But to me, I believe that every dispensation and the way humans must live its life. What will work for 2,000 years ago will not work for us today, depending on how things are moving. And I believe that just like the other speaker said, we need to sit down as a society and redevelop how we want to see ourselves in the next 100 years or 500 years to come. Because the reason being is that we have so many things around us which are untapped. There are so many secrets that we need to look for. There are so many things we need to demystify. As a practitioner of traditional African religion, when you are into that practice, you realize that there are so many things that we've not looked for. There are so many answers that we've not searched to look for. And that is why we seems to be lacking behind. But then if we sit as a society, if we sit down and then draw a plan, how do we really want our society to be in the next 100 years? What kind of humans do we want to be in the next 500 years? Then nature will absorb us into it. That is where we look around us and say, okay, we have lithium, we have bauxite, we have good oxygen around us, we have, if you do this, we're going to have a lot of CO2, we're going to have for this, we're going to distort the environment here and there. So how do we want to live our lives? Let me tell you, nobody can build a better life for you than yourself. And so to me, I think that nature is already there for us to tap in. And what we need to tap in is to think beyond the thinking. People have done it. Our forefathers sat down and realized that when we go this way, these are the laws that can help us to progress, to be able to be kind to one another, to be able to have a peaceful coexistence with each other. They sat down, they planned, and they implemented it, and it helped them. In this dispensation, most of the things they planned in those years will not be good or will not be appropriate for us because of how the environment is positioned itself, how we have manipulated the environment, how we've been able to disorganize nature to be something else. And therefore, I always say that we need to sit down as Africans. We need to sit down as societies, as communities. We need to start developing from the communities. What do the community have? What are the natural resources that they have? What can we benefit from it? How are we going to make good use of the feminine and the masculine energies around us? How are we going to think about our future generations? What proper planning are we planning for these people to come? Are we going to just leave everybody to just live their life the way they want? Or we need to have a standard society where everybody will feel comfortable belonging to each other, cohabiting with each other, proper laws, proper justice. We need to put all these things together so that we will be able to be within our natural existence. What will work for me here, wherever I'm, might not work for somebody who is somewhere else. The food I'm eating here is what I'm supposed to eat. That will give me the enough energy to give me healthy living. But the food at another point will not be appropriate for me because of the weather, because of our sun, the rainfall pattern and stuff. And so it's not like just we need to set up. What do we really want? How do we really want to live our life? How do you want to see our society? What is good for our? Somebody was talking about DNA, somebody was talking about women empowerment. We need to sit down. Which food is good for us? Which food will make us more intelligent? Should we just consume anything that we see? Or we need a proper planning of meal that is suitable for us, our DNA, our strength, and everything. This is what I think. Nature is already there. We have our natural environments. They are there. For the fact that we are distorting it, but we still have some that is untouched. We need to, as a society, we need to leverage on those things and make proper planning into the future. Today, I'm 43 years. I don't even think probably I'll be maybe 80 years, and maybe I'll not even get 100 years. But after my 80 years, my next generation to come, how do I want to see them? Are they also going to struggle, run the beats, make life as though there is no tomorrow, just like the way we are living our life? And the answer is no. We need to sit down, create a life for the next dispensation. Whatever we are doing here today will not be relevant in the next 100 years to come. And how do we make it relevant for those people to come is what we should be thinking about. And so for me, I think this is one of the platform I've joined, and we must conscientize ourselves right from the beginning to the end. We need to retrain ourselves, rebrain ourselves. We need to put certain things into being, something that can identify us, something that will make us live longer, not just living longer, but be able to coexist in harmony, something that we speak to nature, nature responds to us. Those are the things we need to be thinking about. And one of our speakers was saying that we cannot entirely blame people for what we are not able to achieve. The time has come. Our forefathers were on them to accept things that they were, and other times that they will not be accepting. But no one is holding gun at us. We are moving freely. We are thinking freely. Yes.
Sister Priscilla, we are just enjoying what you are telling us, and we will give you a Saturday, one of the Saturdays. Get in touch with Brother Pigeon.
All right.
We will give you a whole platform on a Saturday. Come and share your thinking with us.
All right.
Come and do a presentation for us, and then we'll respond and have a discussion.
Yes, sir.
Suffice it to say that you have shared with us your thinking on what transformation development should be. And you are even asking us to look into the future, 500 years. So that is wonderful. So if you pause there for now and get in touch with Brother Pigeon, either through the chat or I don't know how. Brother Pigeon, how does she get in touch with you?
We have already been in touch, Brother.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so it's 7 past 8 o'clock. It's already past midnight in parts of Africa. So we need to bring the meeting to a close, but it will not be fair until we hear from those who haven't spoken, at least, even if just to share their thinking with us. So if it's okay with you, or let's just hear those who haven't spoken. There are not many, only 1 or 2, and then we'll bring the meeting to a close. The first person is Brother Pigeon. If he can share his thinking on the paragraph, please. And then Sister Grace, if she's still here. And then I think that is it. Everybody else has spoken. So Brother Pigeon, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Kwame. I won't take long. I think I will connect it better in the next session. But now the nature is coming in. And remember, chapter 1 ended by our natural universe. And now the nature is being brought in. So I would like to examine it further in the next session on that element of society and nature and the forces of nature and how everything else has to be done. So that in order for us to achieve transformation and development, how do you work with the nature to ensure that our society then achieve the fundamental transformation and development? That's what I'll look at deeply in the next session, probably.
Yeah, that is amazing, because you've drawn our attention, for those of us who are not aware, but the Pigeon's drawn our attention to the last sentence in chapter 1, which says our universe is a natural universe. So, and then Sister Priscilla has rightly brought us back to nature. In fact, Brother Raspala has done the same in terms of the African drum and the fire. So it looks like we are coming back to nature. So thank you very much. The last person who hasn't spoken is Sister Chisomo, Grace. Grace, are you able to speak, or are you still? I know sometimes we fall asleep behind our laptops, because we are so tired sometimes. Sister Grace is not responding, so she could have fallen asleep behind the laptop. Right, that happens sometimes. Okay, so everybody has spoken. Those who haven't spoken says they can't speak because of where they are, like Brother Kwejo. So thank you all for coming. Brother PG will make the final announcements, and then we'll bring the meeting to a close. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Brother Kwame, and thank you very much, everybody who into our conversation. The number is growing and we appreciate. In fact, we have been moving on sometimes even when we are 5, 4, and 3, and we've never stopped for the last 3 to 4 years. Every day, every Thursday, we are here every Thursday. All our recordings are available on our YouTube channel. For that history of almost 3 or 4 years of conversation, we've had over 330 something recordings of our sessions that are materials that we'll use for purposes of knowledge and for learning. You can always check on our YouTube channel where we'll share the recording of this session as well next week. And yes, this coming Saturday, we have a platform, as Brother Kwame said, to those who are new, where we discuss the unification of Africa. Of course, inspired by some of us or one of us. We've been focusing on that platform for the last 2 years, probably, and we discuss unification of Africa. This Saturday, we are looking on the identity question. Who is an African? So please join us on that Saturday. I'll share the links as well. If you don't have any contact directly with me where you found the notification of the reminder, get in touch. Next Thursday, we'll pick it from here as we delve deeper into this conversation again on society and nature. Thank you very much for your time. And yes, let's meet again Saturday or next week, Thursday. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye. Good